I don't live in DC anymore. I'm a remote worker. I have a different view of the town than I think other people do. Whenever I come into DC, I'm reminded of all the money that's behind a lot of the organizations that people take for granted here. I see a think tank and I see the dollars coming in from foreign governments, defense contractors, the US government.
Think tank funding is a bit of a third rail in DC, but the truth is that money matters, funding matters.
Think tank experts are the people you see on CNN, Fox News, NPR, here on podcasts. Think tanks are the people who are advising Congress.
The voices that are dominating the foreign policy debate right now are oftentimes funded by donors that have a direct stake in the foreign policy outcome. Donors like weapons manufacturers or foreign governments.
One of the big reasons why we are producing the think tank funding database and report is precisely because your average member of the public has no idea who is funding the experts that they're seeing on TV, that they're hearing on the radio, that they're reading in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Washington Post.
We looked at the last 5 years of think tank funding, focusing on the top 50 foreign policy think tanks in the US. We dug through the annual reports of those think tanks in order to compile a publicly available database of foreign government funding, Pentagon contractor funding, and US government funding.
Folks outside of the Beltway aren't aware just how many conflicts of interest there are in the foreign policy experts that they're hearing from.
So part of this project is to assign transparency scores to each think tank in order to try and incentivize them to be more forthcoming with showing where their funding sources come from.
The average member of the American public has a right to know who is funding the experts that they're seeing on TV, that they're hearing on the radio.
We just want it to be common practice for those potential conflicts of interest to be front and center.
And we think that when they're fully transparent about that funding, that's going to change the public's opinion of what those experts are saying.